This is huge. Nintendo's official Game Boy Advanced emulator for the Nintendo Switch has leaked. Now it's just a matter of waiting for Nintendo Switch Online to add the Game Boy Advanced. So this is starting to pop off and go viral. Just in case anyone has doubts, here is the context. 4 files were leaked so far onto 4chan, 2 NSPs with a 7-zip archive that has loose NCAs. The 2 NSPs is a Nintendo GBA Emulator, so it's called Sloop. 7-zip archive is called Hyoko, which is a Game Boy emulator with all Game Boy games being separate applications. They are developed by Nintendo Europe Research Development, and they are both functional, albeit with a few bugs. And if we go back here, we can see screenshots of it working. So there's the Nintendo Switch Game Boy Advanced emulator. Alright, and we can see Pokemon titles already in. Pokemon Pinball, Ruby and Sapphire, and then there's also a Pokemon trading demo for the multiplayer scenarios. Update, the library of Game Boy Advance games they've tested for this thing is massive. Tested is the key word. It doesn't mean they'll actually launch on the service. Yellow is in the ROM folder at some point, but not in the leaked build. There's one other game with evidence of being tested as well. So we can go down here and we see Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Pinball, but there are multiple screenshots of different berry tag screens from Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald saved in the emulator, most likely taken during link cable emulation testing. So at some point there was testing for Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Now my first thought was, what about the Virtual Console? Because if we have the Game Boy Advance emulator and the Game Boy emulator, are we going to get a re-release of this game? Is it too soon to play Pokemon Red and Blue again? Probably not, because that release was over 6 years ago. No. Wrong. There's no way. And the reason why it might feel shorter is because 5 years ago, effectively almost a year after the release of these games, was when there was transfer into Pokemon Sun and Moon. And that unlocked all kinds of craziness. But honestly, there's a lot of content behind just a Pokemon game Virtual Console release, like Pokemon Red and Blue, Gold and Silver. But if we have the Game Boy Advanced, then that means Ruby and Sapphire as well. So that unlocks all kinds of other craziness. And that also brings us a lot closer to the dream of a Pokemon Master Collection by bringing as many of the Pokemon games as close together as possible. Now, getting into Nintendo DS re-releases is where things get complicated, but fortunately we're covered with Generation 4 because we just had the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remake, so I think that makes everything pretty good in that regard. It was also really cool to see that, you know, with the Game Boy games finally being able to transfer into modern Pokemon through the Virtual Console, that opened up a lot of possibility. Now, the Nintendo 3DS online systems are getting sunsetted, so bringing the Game Boy Virtual Console into the Nintendo Switch, potentially, with this GBA emulator could also be very good, because now we just have like, oh man, all kinds of Pokemon games everywhere on Nintendo Switch. Just turn it on, pop it on, maybe we trade, maybe we have some matchmaking potential going on as well, and then that could also integrate really well with Pokemon Home. And then the programs can just read your system, much like how Poké Transporter went, hey, you have the Virtual Console, want me to throw that into Pokemon Bank for you? Pokemon Home already does that. It reads all of your games and say, what do you want to transfer, homie? So we have that with potentially all of the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. That sounds really awesome, and it adds a lot of life that is needed with Pokemon games right now, because unfortunately, Pokemon Unite, the balancing is just awful. Also, the game never really took off to begin with. Pokemon Legends Arceus always sucked. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shine Pearl didn't give a lot of quality of life, so it's behind Pokemon Sword and Shield on competitive, and Pokemon Sword and Shield is hacked into oblivion, so there's really no reason to play it, and now we're just waiting for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I was actually thinking about it the other day, because even if we get non-stop Pokemon Scarlet and Violet news, there's no Pokemon games to play right now, so a big random Pokemon game announcement would be pretty awesome. And it wouldn't be just Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire version potentially. We have Fire Red, Leaf Green, maybe, I don't know like how they do the Emerald release, because we saw Red, Blue, Yellow, as well as Gold and Silver. And then Crystal did get a later Virtual Console release, so there's a lot of potential for just all of this really cool integration. I'd even be okay with it if it was the Nintendo Switch Online Plus, because I want to play Nintendo 64 games, I just don't like how much it costs right now, even though the library is expanding. So I mean, we did have Paper Mario, that is my favorite Nintendo 64 game of all time. Banjo-Kazooie, also a great one, and then we have some upcoming ones. Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards, Mario Golf coming April 15th, not bad, and eventually Pokemon Snap. I love new Pokemon Snap. I have a physical copy of Pokemon Snap that I played on the channel a couple of years ago, like it was recent at the time, and yeah, like that's actually really cool that if the Nintendo Switch Online Plus then just kind of adds in all of the games for Pokemon integration on Virtual Console, I'd be okay with that, especially because you had to pay like money, you had to pay a couple bucks to get the Game Boy Virtual Console ones. So it's a very interesting state. Now, there's always the factor of Nintendo just kind of screwing it up and dropping the ball. The biggest one being how long it takes for the games to come out, because we need a summer release for some kind of Pokemon games. Just Ruby Sapphire, potentially Emerald, that would be fine. I would like to see maybe all of the Game Boy games get a release as well and not have to wait until like September, because by then it's like, oh, well, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are pretty much going to be out. However, there is the curious thing going on with how there's been no Pokemon Home update for Pokemon Legends Arceus and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl yet. Is the plan to hold off on support until summer and then just kind of release everything and have it all work really well? Also, feels like we are due for a Nintendo Direct in general around this time, so that'd be a pretty big announcement with just the overall console potential integrations, something spicy going on with Pokemon. Yeah, but we're used to like January, Pokemon Bank, Pokemon Home for the latest Pokemon games. It's April, and there's nothing to do with the Pokemon, and we don't know which ways the transfers are going to go or anything like that. So that could be the plan, to make something happen for Pokemon games in the summer if we're just like waiting on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet for that eventual release. But even then, like, I don't care about the transfer with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shine Pearl, because like I said, Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive was just better, or like competitive making was just better, and Pokemon Legends was a trash game that actually just kind of like ruins the values of shiny Pokemon even more. But we still need that transfer to see what happens with like the regional variants, if there's an update to Pokemon Sword and Shield. So there could be some massive stuff going on in the summer, but it's kind of for games that are played out. The only thing that would be fresh is bringing in some Virtual Console on top of that, and then the Pokemon ecosystem gets a lot more just broad. That really leaves out Pokemon Black and White, but Generation 5 was the worst generation, so I have no problems with that. And I don't know, maybe the emulator, like, maybe the emulator doesn't have the Pokemon games on Nintendo Switch Online directly, but then that actually just kind of means, like, oh, the Nintendo Switch has the ability for a Master Collection. I'd pay a couple bucks for it, and then once again, all of your Pokemon games in one place for Pokemon Home. Everything integrates, and then we set up for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is going to be the best Pokemon games ever. We have a free exploration Pokemon game releasing this year. Sounds like everything is going to be great. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.